Kelsey Ray here with South by Southwest. Join me on the red carpet for the U.S. premiere of The Trouble with Mr. Doodle, a documentary about Sam Cox and his passion for drawing. Hello, I'm Kelsey. I'm with South by Southwest. We're so excited to have you. What are you looking forward to most by bringing this documentary to our festival?
I hope that people enjoy the story and stuff. It's nice to be able to share it with people, and I really love what the directors have made and the team and everyone. It's been a really fun experience over the last kind of 4 years, and I just hope it makes people, I just hope people enjoy it, really. Yeah.
So it's a documentary that follows you for 4 years?
It kind of goes into my life before that as well, but we've been filming properly kind of on it for 4 years, yeah.
Amazing. When did you discover your passion for doodling?
I sort of loved it ever since I can remember, really. But when I was at school, when I was kind of 15 years old, my teacher, Morgan, who's in the film, really kind of inspired me to just kind of get completely obsessed by it and just let it take over everything. And it's just been everything, like, all-consuming since then, really, in the best way possible. Yeah.
What are you hoping that people take away after watching your documentary?
I don't really have anything in mind for what people will, what I want people to think or hope what they think. It'll be nice if people, like it. I think probably if people see a different side to who I am and my work and stuff from it. It's not all about like smiley faces and cartoon characters living in a happy doodle land all the time. There is a bit of trouble there as well. So, but yeah, I think people will find it interesting, I think.
I'm really looking forward to seeing your documentary. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
How did you first find out about Sam Cox, aka Mr. Doodle?
He's pretty famous online, and he was doing a lot of stuff where he was just getting millions and millions of views. So I was aware of him, and then he came to us to see if we'd make a film about him, which was very nice.
I wasn't at all aware of him, but my wife Katie used to follow him, or still does follow him. So I'd look over her shoulder, and she'd be watching him doodle.
Doodle and
many millions of followers. So I sort of knew about him before I realized I knew about him, and then got invited onto the project.
And what do you think makes him a good documentary subject?
Wow. He's got an incredibly compelling and powerful story that I think speaks to a lot of people's own experience. I think our film is as much about his own personal journey as it is about his art. And I think the world so far knows a lot about his art, but not much about the man behind the doodle suit. And we've really tried to bring that to life. And I think he's been really brave, showing such vulnerability. He's been through a hell of a journey, and we feel very proud to be part of kind of bringing that to life.
Yeah, he's incredibly brave, which makes him a really good subject. I mean, many people want to have a film made about them, but when the reality hits them, they suddenly get cold feet or want to keep certain things hidden. Sam's been incredibly open, honest, absolutely at all times, and it makes for a really fascinating story, we hope.
He's also, often when we make films, we sort of make films about people, and on this we've really made it with him. I think our job was really to try and allow Sam to tell the world what he's been through and experienced, and we were just the kind of conduits to help him realize that. But it feels like a true collaboration. He's written music for the film, he's done animation for the film, all his doodles are in the film, him and his family are in the film, so yeah, we're just sort of along for the ride, really.
What are you hoping that people take away from this documentary after they watch it?
Well, one thing, and this is probably true of most films about artists, is that it's a really hard thing to get across on a film, because watching a film about art is kind of quite, it doesn't move very much. This film moves because it's a story about someone, a person who's going through his own story. So what I hope people get from the film is a kind of an idea of what it's like to be an artist, which is also can be a gift and a curse, to be kind of blessed and kind of burdened with that amazing skill and need to kind of put your work into the world. It's quite fascinating, and that's what I think we hope Sam will bring to this film for people to see.
The only other thing I would add is I think that it's a really inspiring story. No one's seen the film. I mean, it's the world premiere, so no one knows what Sam's been through, but he's had some real struggles with his own mental health and through the creative process, and I think at the end of the film, we find him in a really amazing place, and I think that will hopefully resonate with people and shows that there is a way through difficult times, and with the kind of love and support of his friends and family, he's here and he's in a great place, and yeah, we're really proud to be standing alongside him.
Amazing. And since this is the world premiere of The Trouble with Mr. Doodle, what makes you feel like South by Southwest is the best festival to premiere this film?
Actually, because it's a really unusual film, and I think this festival and the kind of the vibe here is probably quite open to films that are departing from convention. And we hope we've told a really good story that moves along and kind of keeps people entertained, but it's kind of like defies some conventions that documentary can be quite held by rules, and we've kind of thrown the rules out and made a film that we hope it feels fun.
And only because like Sam's art doesn't really follow rules, and his own professional career hasn't followed rules, and so we've sort of tried to capture that spirit, which is why he's kind of animated sections of the film, and yeah, we've let him loose.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this film. Thank you all so much for talking to me and premiering this at South by Southwest.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was so wonderful. Oh, I loved it so much. My name is Caitlin Ferraro. I am a former film team member here to do the Q&A today. So I'd love to bring back Jamie DeCruz and Ed Perkins.
Thank you. We're very happy to introduce Sam Cox, Mr. Doodle, who's come all the way from Tenterden in Kent to join us. And Sam, will you like to join us?
Hi everyone. I just want to say thanks so much to my wife, who's not here, but and the guys as well. Everyone has been involved. It's been amazing, and Jamie and Ed and Simon and Jonathan and all my friends and family who've been involved. And it's been a long process, but it's been really therapeutic to me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. It was difficult, but it's my favourite thing I've ever been involved in, so I'm really happy with it. Thanks, guys.
And we have some other members of the family that would like to join us for the Q&A, if that's okay. If I could bring on Andrea, Sam's mum. And I know we have a couple of other, I'm not sure if Morgan's going to join us, but Morgan, come up if you're there. Where are you? Morgan is Sam's ex-school teacher and now creative director. We also have Big G, Uncle Graham, in the house, if you'd like to come as well. Well, that's totally up to you, Graham.
We want to get started while we get everybody down here? Wonderful. Well, I love this film. It's so beautifully done. Claudette nailed it in that intro, absolutely. I'll get y'all some mics. I would love to know when did you meet Sam, and how did this film come about, and did you already know the direction it was going to take before?
Very much not. I knew of Mr. Doodle, had heard of him. He was very big on social media already, and I was approached and asked to make a film about him, and I had absolutely no idea what his story was, what the direction of the film was going to be. The only thing I said to Sam right at the beginning was it'd probably be quite hard to make a film, so if you are willing to go on the journey, let's see where we get to, and that was really pretty much it.
Oh, it's so vulnerable, and it's just amazing what you did with it with real care, and I love how his art is really like such a central part of the visual storytelling. Can you kind of talk about how that was approached?
Well, it was a real journey, actually, and I think Ed can talk about that as well, because Ed's the other director of the film and really worked very hard with Sam to kind of make sure that the art was not just featured in the film, but it kind of became really much a living part of it.
Just before answering that, I might just say kind of publicly how much we love Sam, and also just sort of to say how much respect we have for what he's done. I think especially if you've, well, for anyone, but especially if you've got a public persona, I think to be as vulnerable and as brave as you've been and to kind of let us into your world and to be just really honest about a really difficult part of your life is an extraordinary thing, and it's been a real privilege for all of us to be part of it. So we love you, Sam, and thanks so much for
Thank you, Sam.
being here. And that goes to all of you guys as well. You've just been extraordinary. I guess normally as a filmmaker, we talk about making films about people, and this is a different process because we've always felt it was a film where we made this with Sam, and it's the most kind of collaborative process I've ever had, not just to be able to co-direct with someone else, but also to really feel like we were making it with the amazing person that the film is about. And I think every choice that we've made really has been to try to get Jamie and I out the way, and to try to, you know, Sam is a creative life force, but he's not a filmmaker, and so our job was really to try to allow his experience and what he'd lived through in a very specific way to translate onto screen. And so when you see this film, a lot of the songs in there are Sam's, all the animations Sam did himself. You know, there's a lot of love and passion in there from Sam, and I think it's extraordinary.
I was wondering about that, but the relationship really shines through. It's just so good. I'm going to turn it over to the audience. Are there any questions? Anyone? Right here.
He does. He's a very successful business running merchandise and arts prints, and he does collaborations, and he has a big team around him. And Morgan, who was his school teacher, is now his creative director. And Neil, who appears in the film, who's Sam's father, is, I guess, the business manager. So there's a whole structure around Sam, and the art and the commerce, I guess, is all part of the Mr. Doodle plan, which is, of course, to take over the entire universe.
Oh, there's a lot. I saw this hand, kind of like a white shirt, I believe, yes. So what year did the film start?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of there's a kind of an interesting thing that happens with the film, which is that the film is largely told through archive, you know, including Sam being a very small baby and being at school. And so we were probably making the film for about 2 years, but the process really started at the point after his episode. So that was something that had already happened, but it was continuing to affect how the house was being decorated, painted, created, and the plan to reveal it. So we were kind of involved, not for years and years, but the process of the film has obviously taken years to make, because Sam's archive has become such an important part of it. And also, importantly, the archive that he's done as a millennial, working on the YouTube kind of platform and putting everything he does online. There's also a huge amount of stuff that wasn't available online, but through a process of building that relationship, we were kind of getting more and more of the kind of behind the scenes. So I think Sam's kind of story really goes all the way to being a small child, but it was a very kind of complicated thing to craft, I guess.
I came on the project a bit later than Jamie. Jamie was on right from the beginning, and I came on probably a year ago, and they'd already done a lot of interviews and things, and the thing that struck me was that I kind of had these two burning questions that I really wanted to ask. One was about why Sam draws in the first place, and that's been a kind of real challenge for us because, like a lot of filmmakers, I wanted to find an answer, a simple answer, and there just isn't one. And Jamie, from day one, when we started this project, just said it's kind of a hardware thing. He's just born that way. You can go searching for the rest of your life to try and find a sort of a reason, a smoking gun somewhere that would explain why he draws obsessively for 15 hours a day, but there just isn't. And that was kind of hard for me to grasp. But the other thing we focused on a lot was why Sam got ill specifically. And you guys, I'm sure, can talk about this, but it felt like there was a narrative that he got ill because he was very tired, that he was doing a lot of flights, he was jet lagged, all of which is part of the truth. But I think what we tried to do when we came on was also explore this inevitable kind of this challenge, this sort of tightrope that Sam has walked his whole adult life between him and Mr. Doodle, and the extent to which the character that he'd created for himself, which was a wonderful thing for large parts of his life, suddenly became something that wasn't as healthy. And it's sort of amazing testament to all of you guys that we then went back and re-interviewed everyone and really tried to understand what that duality was. And I don't know how it was for you guys, but really trying to get everyone to think for the first time about whether this persona called Mr. Doodle at that point in his life was something that was helping him. And that's kind of where the film sort of took a bit of a turn for us.
All right. Other questions? I saw this hand with glasses, I believe. So the sound design? Oh, the voices and the sound. Okay, yeah.
We should say as well, there's a really, like in any film, there's a huge team that can't be here with us, and the sound design was a really important part of it. Obviously, the music, the composition largely is Sam's, and then there's lots of original music created by an amazing composer called Kevin Pollard, and then there's a sound designer, a guy called Andrew Stirk, who has interpreted the film and created a sound design, but actually worked with Sam on that. So Sam was really kind of involved in creating a lot of the elements of that soundtrack. So the voices you hear, incredibly, are all Sam, saying thousands of words that are then layered. Is that right, Ed? I mean, that was the kind of process.
Yeah, and also it wasn't just a sort of afterthought, something we thought would sound interesting or evocative. It all comes from Sam's kind of lived experience, and that's like every creative decision has to come from Sam. And so when we talked to Sam about how he felt, and especially in the middle of his tricky time, he was writing music at that time, and a lot of the music we started to hear had these voices in them, this sort of chatter that was happening. It's kind of Mr. Doodle's language in some sense, and so yeah, it was very much. It always felt like it had to come from him and his specific world in order for us to be able to justify it in the film. But again, it was a kind of deeply collaborative process for Sam.
All right, another question. Red jacket? So the question was, what was it like for Sam and the team to kind of rehash this mental health story and for the family as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge responsibility on us as filmmakers to expose Sam to his own story. It's essentially a triggering event by not just watching it, by making it. So we kind of tried to make Sam be as included in every stage of the filmmaking as we could. And Andrea, I mean, we were very nervous about Andrea watching it actually, because everyone had seen the film pretty much in the family except for Andrea until quite recently. But
I have to say that it was, I mean, both Ed, Jamie and everyone involved has been amazing, so supportive. They've looked after Sam every minute. It's all about, is Sam okay? Is that okay? With all of us. But I have to say, it's the best therapy, I think, for us as a family, for Sam. it's been an amazing thing to be able to talk about it, to bring it back out, and for us all to be really open about it, and for us to be able to discuss it, and for other people that have been through what we've been through, for them to be able to see it, you know, and to realise you can come out the other side, it's okay, you know, it's not all bad. You know, you can talk about it and you can get through it. As a family, we've got through it, you know, not just family, with everybody that's been involved. It's been amazing.
Other questions? Right here.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a great question. Well done. It was a huge project. It was a massive project, and it did involve a lot of subcontractors, male and female. I think we had just under 50, not at any one time, but spread out over those sort of 6-7 months that the project was going on for. But also, it was it was tough. It was hard. It's also, obviously, with Sam's episode as well, Sam wasn't present for a lot of that as well. So, you know, we were going into it quite blindly, I suppose you could sort of describe it. But it was massive. It was ongoing. And also we had 2020 was quite a big year. I'm sure you can remember the pandemic that was on. So sourcing materials and finding tradespeople to do it was a challenge from start to finish. I was quite aware of what was happening with Sam. I was made aware of it. The subcontractors and the companies that were working on the site and on the project didn't. They weren't aware of obviously what was happening. So we kept that from them, which I think was great to protect to protect the family, etc. But it was a shock when Sam came to me and asked me, you know, can you rip out this perfectly finished house? You know, and you've seen it on the film. It was a completed house. There was nothing wrong with it. It was beautiful, and he wanted to take it right back to a shell. So, you know, I love a challenge. Thanks,
Thank
boss.
you for that. I do actually. That's all the time we have for questions. But thank you so much for sharing your story with us and this beautiful film.
That does it for the premiere of The Trouble with Mr. Doodle at the 2024 South by Southwest Film Festival. Don't worry, we've got more coverage and more movies coming at you.